Hello and welcome to the SpiderNerd.com podcast. I am your host, Jonathan Weber, aka SpiderNerd, the webmaster of the site. And joining me today for the panel is Mr. Thomas Patterson.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going, Thomas?
Pretty good. Had a lot going on this week.
Oh, really? Like what?
I started going through my uncle's will because he passed away.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But on a better note, I got Man of Steel. So my dad and I watched that, and we went to go see the Hunger Games, the last Hunger Games movie. And I managed to get a gaming partnership with my gaming network. It's still in the application process, but I should get a gaming partnership by the end of next week, so that's good.
Very good. How is Man of Steel? I haven't seen it, actually.
Oh, really? It's a pretty good movie. It got bashed by a lot of critics, mostly just because it wasn't the old Superman movies. And that seems to be like a pretty common complaint with modern-day Superman movies. Although I will admit that the character development was really lacking in these movies besides Clark Kent. He was basically the only person that you actually got to know in the movie. And maybe a little bit of Amy Adams, Lois Lane. But everybody else kind of had lackluster character development. You didn't really care about them too much.
Yeah, I'm not a big Superman fan, but I did like Superman 2 quite a bit. So, that's really all of Superman I'm familiar with, apart from a little bit of the animated series. I've seen some of the 90s animated series with Lex Luthor voiced by what's his name? Oh crap. It'll come to me at like 3 in the morning, but Lex Luthor was awesome in that series, and I did like the few episodes of that series that I saw. I'm not a big Superman fan, but he's decent enough. So you went to see Hunger Games. I've read the first book of that, but I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the movie yet. I have really no interest in seeing it.
I have never read the books. I just go to see the movies. And that's unusual for me because usually with Harry Potter movies, I read the books before I go in. With the Hunger Games, I just had no interest in reading the books and just decided to go watch the movies. They're pretty good popcorn flicks, so it's all good.
Yeah, most people say that the books are always better than the movies.
Yeah, that's usually true. But actually, I heard that from some people that the movie was actually just as good as the books as the person who read it, and because they cover basically what happened in the book.
Interesting.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job of that. So,
well, that's good. That's good. What have I been up to this week? Well, I'm just gonna say this: I'm so done with marching band. Like, I'm so tired of it. My school's football team is really, really good, and that's not me like being like pompous or anything about them. Literally, they have a 13-0 record for this season, and so we're in playoffs right now, and we just won our regional championship. So now we have to go to state Final Four and state championship, and I'm not happy about it because I'm so done.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so done wasting my Friday nights.
Yeah, I can bet. And then you have to also practice harder because they're like, everyone's going to be watching you.
Yeah. And apparently, we got a new band director this year, all right? And he told us that when he came in, one of the first things that he heard was that we always suck during playoffs. And so I was like, shit, he's going to work us extra hard during playoffs now.
Uh-huh.
And he is. So yeah, I'm really exhausted from that. I'm just so done with marching band. I'm so done with it. It's not even funny. But this week I've actually rediscovered something that I haven't really done in a long while, and that is fan fiction writing.
Oh.
Yeah, I've actually started writing another fan fiction. You can actually go on fanfiction.net and find it's under the Spider-Man category under comics. It should be one of the first stories up there as of this recording, if not the very first story, because I just posted it literally an hour ago. I just posted the first chapter. But, yeah, it's called Dark Side. if you can't figure out what the plot is just based on that title, then I have no respect for you. But
What does it mean?
I think it means yes. I stole the title Dark Side from the Kelly Clarkson song of the same name. Because I love the Glee version of that song. But oh crap, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I just posted that up there an hour ago. It's got one chapter up. So go on fanfiction.net, find the story Dark Side. You should see my author name next to it. It's just SpiderNerd, nothing fancy, just SpiderNerd. Yeah, go read and review that because I put a lot of work into that. I spent the whole day yesterday outlining the whole story, and it's going to be 20 chapters long. It's going to be a heck of a long story.
Wow, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's going to be 20 chapters long, and I promise you it will not involve Harry Osborn or any bullshit like that. Because I'm pretty sure the title gives away the plot, so I'll just spoil it on this podcast because I feel like it. You're going to see Venom in this story, and I promise you it will not be Harry, like in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Let's not talk about that show, please.
Yeah.
Please. It just gets me angry just thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that show. But, yeah, so I've started doing that, and, yeah, that's really it. There's not much to talk about with us this week because we're boring people with no lives.
Hey, this was actually a big week for me.
Exactly.
In terms of, like, how much I've done.
This was kind of a big week for me, too, because... But you know, it's still boring compared to like most other people because I know people who are like at the mall with their friends right now. No, I'm in my basement recording a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep, we're in our basements talking about, you know, Spider-Man and bullshit like that. So,
hey, my dad's gonna buy me a PS4 for Christmas. Yay!
You lucky son of a bitch. I have no desire to get a PS4, but you know, it's good that you're going to get one. I'm hoping to just get a crap ton of money for Christmas so that I can just buy comic books like left and right. So
Sounds like a pretty good idea.
So I can just get back issues of the Amazing Spider-Man, and mainly I want to get that Michelini McFarlane omnibus. I really want to get that because it has the first appearances of Venom in it, and plus David Michelini is one of my favorite Spider-Man writers of all time. He's so good. He's easily one of the best Spider-Man writers ever.
Yeah, Venom's probably the last Spider-Man villain that was new that truly stuck because every other villain that's new just kind of fades away. So.
Well,
they did a pretty good job with that. Well, I actually do like Carnage quite a bit. So
there was Carnage, but you're right. I honestly can't think of any character that was introduced in the '90s that's really stuck besides Cardiac a bit. Cardiac has...
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure I could deem him, you know, highly enough because I think if you ask people around that were just average people off the street, they could tell you that, oh yeah, there's Carnage, there's Venom. I don't know if you could say that about Cardiac.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about really like who's appeared in the comics in the last.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
in the last while because he was in Superior number 7 and 8, and apparently he's going to be in this upcoming Superior Venom arc, which I don't know what he's doing there, but whatever.
It's just, you know, just trying to confuse us all. That's the whole plan.
Exactly. And, that brings me to another point. I also read Superior Annual number 1 this week. It was fine. Nothing special. It was fine.
It was fine.
That's, like, I considered having us talk about it on this show, but then I realized there's nothing to talk about with it. It's just kind of there.
I don't pick up Annual, so I wouldn't have had any idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's there. It's just another Annual. It's nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, into news topics, we've got actually quite a few news topics to cover this week. After we had 0 news topics to cover last week, we actually do have quite a bit this week. The first one that came out literally hours after we recorded last week's podcast was that the trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 will be being released on I almost said amazing December 5th. What the hell was that? But it will be released on December 5th, hopefully at midnight, so I will just stay up like as long as it takes for that trailer to come up, which is a bad idea since I have school in the morning, but because that's a Thursday, but I will be there the moment that trailer comes out.
I don't think that's a good idea because they usually release it like the middle of the day. Yeah, they usually put them up at like in the middle of the day. Like I was waiting for the Captain America trailer to come out, and they put it up at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock?
My time.
So that's 10 o'clock my time. I'm not in class at that point, so that's good. That means I can watch it the moment it comes out.
Yep.
Yeah, so are we excited for that trailer? I know I am.
I am incredibly excited. I've been waiting forever. I thought like there were a whole bunch of like tweets coming out from the people that did the music for the trailer. They're all like, "Oh, don't worry, it's coming in front of Thor: The Dark World and Hunger Games." And I was like so looking forward to November, and it didn't come out. And I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" When Mark Webb like put up the thing that said it's coming in front of The Hobbit, it's like a whole nother month away. But I'm glad that it's coming out really soon and online before The Hobbit so that we can get a good look at it before we go to see it in theaters. So I'm really excited to be able to see a full HD version of what's going to be coming in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Lesson learned, never trust people in the music industry.
Apparently, God.
Because they clearly have no idea what they're talking about. Because, honestly, I mean, I can understand, like, if they're a few days off from the release date, but a whole month? Come on!
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it was, like, an evil play by Sony, because, like, Brainstown, which is the person that, which are the people that did it, they were all like, oh, it's coming out, in front of the Thor: The Dark World, and Sony's like, oh, gosh, they just spoiled it, so we're gonna move it back.
That's probably what it was. You're probably right. That's probably what it was. But, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this trailer. I saw the leaked Comic-Con trailer, so
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not as excited for this trailer as I would be if it were my first exposure to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but honestly, I'm stoked to see an HD trailer and a real official one that I don't have to feel bad every time I watch it.
See, I never feel bad when I watch it because honestly, I don't think Sony's too upset that it leaked online and that people are excited about the franchise. So, no, I'm not. I don't feel bad each time I watch it. I watch it and I enjoy it. But the problem that I have with it is that the reason I'm really excited for the trailer, actually probably more than I would be if I hadn't watched the leaked trailer, is because I get so upset each time I watch the leaked trailer that it's not in HD. So
I know. Because the one video I watched said HD quality, and I clicked on it, and it was literally someone recording it off of the screen at Comic-Con. And I still watched it, but I was like, oh, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I really shouldn't have fallen for that, but I did, and because I was hopeful that it was in HD. I was hopeful, but ultimately it wasn't. So, but that was a really good Comic-Con trailer. The one they showed at Comic-Con was excellent.
Yeah, but it was like 4.5 minutes long, which is what gets me going when people are like, it's probably just going to be a finished version of the Comic-Con trailer. And I understand that not a lot of people saw it, but no, it was much longer at Comic-Con than it will be when we see it in HD.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 4 minutes. I highly doubt it.
I don't know if they could keep the audience around long enough to just go through a trailer like that.
Well, I mean, have you ever heard of a 4-minute trailer for something?
No. Honestly, I can't think of one.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be like a bunch of people commenting on the website for this podcast saying like, oh, what about this one, this one, this one, this one? But like,
I think the longest one I've seen is a 3-minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think trailers really shouldn't be 4 minutes long, because then because then they give too much away.
Yeah.
Because the Comic-Con trailer really did give a lot away about the movie, even though it wasn't finished. But, what the hell was I going to say here? Oh, yeah. So trailers should only be short and to the point. They shouldn't give too much away, and they should leave you with a notion of, oh my gosh, I really want to see this movie, which really, the Comic-Con trailer accomplished 2/3 of that, except it wasn't really to the point. It showed a lot of different points in the film, but obviously it was more meant to be a footage showing than a trailer, so
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can kind of understand that.
It was just kind of like a film reel. And I honestly think that after waiting for so long for the trailer and them having accomplished so many other special effects things, there better be some new action sequences in this trailer, because I'm going to be so mad if there isn't and it's just the trailer, because honestly, the Comic-Con trailer was good, but it didn't have a lot of action scenes in it at all. And so I'm hoping that they put more stuff in there, because it would be really disappointing if it was just a HD finished quality of like the last 2.5 minutes of the trailer or something.
You know what I'm hoping for? I'm hoping for some Norman Osborn in this trailer.
Yes, he was in the Comic-Con trailer too.
He was, but all he did was say, "Not everyone has a happy ending."
Yeah, because you're a jerk, Norman Osborn. That's why.
Oh, burn. But yeah, but Norman Osborn really. I want to see him in this trailer because I'm hoping for some hints as to whether or not he's going to become the freaking Green Goblin or not.
I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of really upsetting rumors that Harry Osborn could become Green Goblin first.
Oh, please no.
And then they were also talking about how he would become Venom. And I was like, no.
My
Oh,
God.
God, no. Please.
Please, no. Just don't touch anything from that stupid freaking Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. Just don't
Please don't pick up that. That would be awful. I would be banging my head against the wall.
I would rather them have Doc Ock switch bodies with Peter Parker and become the superior Spider-Man in the movies than see Harry Osborn as Venom.
Yeah, I would walk out of the movie theater right then and there. It's like, hey, Pete. It's like, is this Eddie Brock? And he's like, Harry. And I would just get up and I'd walk out of the movie theater right then.
Yeah, it's just like replace Topher Grace with Dane DeHaan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although he probably could have played a good Ultimate-ish Eddie Brock if he was chosen, but he's not, so he shouldn't.
Exactly. So, final thoughts on this topic. We're looking forward to the trailer, and we'll be here when it comes out, so...
Yay!
I'll try to post it on the site the minute it comes out, so... we'll see how that goes, because I'm actually in class on Thursdays, and so, we'll see how that goes, but I'll try to post it on the site, as soon as I can when it comes
out. Week from Thanksgiving Thursday, so...
Yes.
Enjoy a couple days off from school, and then come back for a week, and you get your trailer.
Yeah, I only have 4 days off from school because I don't get Wednesday off because I'm in college. So.
Oh. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, I do this college while in the high school program thing, and it's like, and so I have college classes instead of high school classes, but I'm still in high school, so it's hard to explain, but
yeah.
But really, so I have class on Wednesday.
I'm just taking a whole bunch of AP classes. Seriously, every one of my classes is AP, so but I still get that day off, so.
Yeah, see, I would take AP classes, but I don't feel like doing the AP tests, so. And plus, yeah. I don't want to be at my high school. I hate my high school. I hate it so much.
Well, I'm hoping not to be there next year too much, so. Yeah. That's basically what I'm hoping to get out of.
Yeah. So, next news topic we have is that Sony is possibly teasing some Spider-Man spin-off films. In a recent interview with, I don't remember who the interview was with. Let me look it up.
Amy Pascal is the co-chairman of Sony Pictures. She spoke a bit. And then the CEO, Michael something or other. And
Thomas for the win, because he just saved the day. the exact quote is, "We're going to be accessing Marvel's full world of Spider-Man characters, so be on the lookout for new heroes and villains." So they're not outright stating that these characters are going to get spin-off films, but it's pretty much implied that they are.
It's about as close as you can get to outright saying that they're getting spin-off films, and that she also said that they have scripts currently in the works for these things.
They did say that, and so they've pretty much confirmed that yes, we're getting spin-off films.
Yeah, and so my idea was the clones are going to be a little bit difficult, I believe, for putting them in films, at least for a while. So my idea was they could bring a little bit more ethnic diversity into the Spider-Man universe, and instead of killing Peter Parker, make Miles Morales the Scarlet Spider and do a spin-off film for him as the Scarlet Spider, and then you'd have a wider universe around that. You'd have 2 Spider-Man heroes, and then they could probably get some way to get Spider-Woman or something in there as like a higher level government Spider-Man official kind of thing, and then they'll probably do a few villain spin-off films. Like they've been constantly talking about Venom for a while, so we'll see.
See, the first one that came to my mind, and I don't know why this came to my mind, but the first person that came to my mind for a spin-off film was Black Cat.
Yeah. There's also been some talk about that one, but I don't know how she'd be able to hold her own film.
See, I could kind of see, her starting off as a common thief, and then maybe her transition to a more heroic role. I mean, that's a very, very basic story, but yeah. I think it might be able to work for a movie. It might not. I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm not a professional movie writer. I only write fan fiction, so I don't quite know the ins and outs of writing a film, but
Yeah, I agree. My biggest problem with a Black Cat movie is the last time that any cat thief got a solo film, it didn't go very well. Catwoman.
Well, I never saw Catwoman, so I wouldn't know.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So, I don't have my hopes up too high, but everything that I've seen from this franchise so far has been looking really good. So, I would have faith in it if they decided to go that direction. I'm just not sure if it would work out the way that they want it to.
Yeah, I mean, who are you going to do a spinoff with? I mean, you could do a Venom spinoff, but with this new universe, you'd have to reintroduce Venom.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
you kind of need Spider-Man for that. You'd have to introduce him in a Spider-Man film and then do a Venom spinoff film.
Exactly. And who would it be? Would it be Eddie Brock? Would it be Flash Thompson? Who would it be?
I would think that it would probably start out with Eddie Brock, but they might do Flash Thompson. I'm not really sure. They might just move to Flash Thompson because they want to distinguish themselves a little bit more from the
Raimi films?
Yeah, from the Raimi films that handled Eddie Brock kind of haphazardly, though. So if they decided to do Eddie Brock the right way, it might actually go really well for them. So spin-off films, see, I'm a little skeptical of the spin-off films thing because I feel like the only character that's really big enough to really carry his own film in the way he should is Spider-Man. And I think Sony's kind of really stretching here because they only have the Spider-Man characters to work with, whereas Fox has the X-Men and they also have Fantastic Four. And then you have Marvel, who has basically everything they could possibly want besides those characters that are with Fox, X-Men, and Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man with Sony. They have every other character that they could want to pull out of their library to put into a film. And so I feel like Sony's really stretching it here, and I don't know if that's a really good thing to try to do that.
I mean, Sony just plans to cash in on the Spider-Man franchise because
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I agree that they're just trying to cash in with the Spider-Man franchise, and that's basically all and I don't really see a problem with that because they got the property fair and square, but I just really don't want this to backfire and basically to have them shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I mean they're just trying to cash in on the Spider-Man franchise. and they've been doing that ever since really 2010 when they canceled Spider-Man 4. They said, okay, if we don't make a Spider-Man movie, we're gonna lose the rights, so let's make The Amazing Spider-Man. And we know that was the whole reason The Amazing Spider-Man was made.
Yep.
You know, as much as I worship that movie because that movie was so damn good, you know, I realize why it was made. And so, you know, even though I love that movie, I do still see why it was made, and I do still accept that that was the reason it was made. And honestly, to me, this screams just Sony trying to cash in on the franchise. This doesn't scream anything else to me. To me, this is just Sony just trying to make more money off of Spider-Man because he's a freaking billion-dollar cash cow.
Yeah, I agree. But even with the reboot, I felt like it was good creatively because now instead of like I felt like they kind of drove themselves into a corner because every big Spider-Man villain they were killing off. And so without Doc Ock, you couldn't do Sinister Six. So I felt like they had nowhere left to go. And I feel like it opens a lot more doors just to, you know, say, okay, we're going to reboot this. So there were creative reasons, I think, that definitely went into it. Although I think most of the reason was just to keep the franchise. Whereas I feel like this is just, there's really no creative reason to do this. Any spin-off film, because you can basically bring any character that you want into a Spider-Man film and have them be successful there. So I just don't see the reason to keep trying to do it this way. And it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work out well for them.
And see, I'm not denying, you made a good point with the creative decision things. I'm not really denying that because really the Raimi films were running out of ideas. They really, really were. I mean, you could tell they killed off Harry Osborn, who was a very important character to that franchise, and I think that's when they realized that they were screwed. Because, I mean, even though there was nothing else they could have done with that character after his whole plot of, you know, getting revenge on Spider-Man was over, there was nothing else they could have done with that character. They had to kill him. But I think they realized that was what ultimately screwed them over, is they didn't set up anything else for Harry, and when they killed off such an important character, it's kind of screwed them over. I kind of compare it to Glee a little bit because for anyone who doesn't watch Glee, this past summer, one of the main characters, Finn Hudson, his portrayer died of a drug overdose. And in my opinion, ever since then, Glee has not been as good. Mainly because they've had to rewrite the whole thing around the death of that character. They had to kill off that character and rewrite the whole thing around it. When such an important character dies, you know, it does bring this franchise down a bit. That's what's happened to Glee, and that is what happened to the Spider-Man movie franchise. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but I think I know what I was saying.
Yeah, I agree, but I also agree to another extent that there was something wrong with Peter and MJ's relationship. I mean, past Spider-Man 2, all that tension went out the window, and now it was just, Peter basically being a jerk and her leaving him, and then it just felt like there was nowhere to go with the relationship past that point, and it felt like they were really reaching in Spider-Man 3 to find something that they could have a romantic confrontation with. I didn't really feel like that script needed that, though. Like, they needed to make a religious confrontation. I feel like MJ just could have been there for him in that script, and it would have actually worked out better instead of the romantic subplot with everything else. So they were just cornered altogether, and I feel like with this, they actually did a much better job setting it up because now you have Gwen Stacy and you have Shailene Woodley maybe becoming Mary Jane in The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and opening that up. So you have two different romantic relationships you can go places with.
Exactly. And we're kind of getting off topic here from the actual spin-off topic, but really, I mean, I think what we're trying to say here is that we don't really see the need for any sort of spin-off films. I mean, it's really just Sony trying to cash in on the success of the Spider-Man franchise. And so, I mean, you know, hopefully it works out for them if they decide to do it, but I don't really see the need for it, and I don't think Thomas does either.
Yeah, I don't really think there is a need for it. But I'm interested to hear what they mean by how they're working closely with Marvel and Disney because Marvel and Disney basically have the merchandising rights to the Spider-Man property. The only thing Sony still has is the film rights. And so I'm wondering if maybe Sony's trying to, with those deals that they made before, try to get back some other characters that they can use.
It's possible, but there's only so much that can happen. So, and I'm sorry. We literally just got breaking news into Spider-Man, and there's been a new posting to the Daily Bugle Tumblr blog.
Yep.
I literally just went on to the Daily Bugle Tumblr site, and I'm sorry if I sound sort of disjointed here. It's just this literally just came up, so I'm just trying to figure out a way around it. But the Daily Bugle has put up a new posting, and it's called the 5 Borough blog.
I'm reading it now.
Yeah, whatever that means. And it says, yeah, basically, sorry for that, but basically, it's basically just people talking about Spider-Man. That's basically all it is. I don't know if Thomas is reading it while I'm just talking right now, but it's basically just about Spider-Man sightings, and really, that's not really that interesting. So,
they had this guy write in and say that Spider-Man was like pushing this guy around and stuff.
Wow.
So I guess he was. This is basically a liar's post put up on the Daily Bugle Tumblr. It should be interesting though. Wonder if they're going to keep updating this. They probably are, but wow.
Yeah, that's a nice. That's actually a nice segue into our next news topic, which is: have they revealed the origin of Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man 2? And why do we say that? Well, because they're talking about hydroelectric towers set to light up New York City. The basic story is that, despite the outraged cries of protesters, Oscorp Industries is set to flip the switch on the construction of an experimental hydroelectric power plant that could reshape New York's power landscape. And during that story, we get nice mentions of Joy Mercado and Donald Mencken, classic Spider-Man characters. Not classic characters, but, characters that Spider-Man fans should know. And so, is this hinting at all towards Electro's origin?
I definitely think it is hinting towards it, but I think more than anything, this just screams to me as it just screams deja vu to me, mostly because a lot of these superhero films have been talking about energy lately. One of them was the Avengers that we saw just 2 years ago. By the time this movie gets out, talking about how energy was the main source of that plot. And so I'm just getting a little, I'm starting to feel a little, overwhelmed with energy plots because that seems to be the new thing that superhero films are going for.
Stark Industries is about to become the pinnacle of self-sustaining clean energy.
Yep.
That's assuming that the arc reactor takes over and actually works. I assume. Light her up. Yeah, sorry, I just had to throw that Avengers quote in there. I love that movie so much.
It's beautiful, of course, because, my name was directly attached to it, so.
Wait, what?
I was talking to... That wasn't the exact quote. I messed up pretty badly in that.
I was going to say... It's like Christmas, but with more me.
Yeah, there was another... she was like, levels are holding, I think, and he's like, of course they are. I was directly involved.
Yes. I mean, there's never a wrong time for an Avengers quote. Never a wrong time.
As long as you get it right.
Yeah, as long as you get it right. But, yeah, so what do I think of this? Well, we've heard rumors that the final battle of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is going to be set up, was going to take place at a power plant. So, this doesn't really surprise me. I'd heard these rumors way back before this. But I definitely do think that this could have some sort of involvement with Electro just because it's just hydroelectricity. So I think the fact that it's electricity is obviously implying that it may have something to do with Electro. I don't know, but I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I definitely agree, but it's also I also think they're getting into a if he gets his powers there, that's probably where he would return to like fight Spider-Man at the end of the film. And I feel like at the end of the film, which is what they were saying at the power plant, I feel like it'll basically be deja vu. Like with the Spectacular Spider-Man, what happened was he just kicked him into the water, and that was it. And so I feel like that might be what finishes off Electro in the end. It's just this idea that, oh hey, the water will stop him.
See, that's a funny point because at Comic-Con, Mark Webb was talking about, how is Spider-Man going to defeat a villain who he literally can't touch, who he can't hurt with his webs because they conduct electricity, and someone in the crowd screamed, "Water!"
Yep.
And I was like, "Yep, we've just completely spoiled the movie. He's going to defeat him with water." And literally, I was thinking, do you remember back, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, we got that picture of Spider-Man with a fire hose?
Yes. Yep.
And we theorized how that was going to be the way he defeats Electro. I think that's going to come into play here.
Yep. I also heard that, along with the rumor that the power plant was the final stage for the battle, I also heard that Green Goblin comes out at the end and starts fighting Spider-Man at the end of that film, at a power plant.
Yeah. We'll talk about Green Goblin on another podcast because I have a lot to say about this version of the Green Goblin.
Okay.
I have a lot to say.
I expect a lot from you.
Everyone does. Damn it. Hashtag field commander problems. But, so yeah, that's basically, that news story. And our final news story of the day is that the Spider-Man musical is going to be closing on Broadway come January. Reports say that the investors are going to lose about $60 million because of this closing, and that they are going to take the show to Las Vegas, of all places, in an attempt to revitalize it and bring it back to its peak. So, Thomas, we'll start with you. Have you even seen the Spider-Man musical?
No, I haven't thought to go. It just didn't interest me. None of the stuff about it interested me. And you hear but most of what I've heard is just these people getting injured all the time on the set of this musical. And I heard it's the most expensive Broadway play ever. And they haven't even been breaking even lately, and so I feel like this thing is just gonna continue going down the toilet because I don't think Las Vegas is gonna revitalize it either.
See, I haven't seen the Spider-Man musical either, and let me tell you, when I first heard about it, I thought it was the worst idea ever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh great, this is just gonna be a total train wreck, and to be honest, it has been. I mean, there has been so much controversy about it. There's been so many injuries about it. There's going to be a tell-all book about it. I mean, this thing is just blown to gigantic proportions and not in a good way.
Mm. Yep.
And so I really don't think that taking it to Las Vegas is really going to do anything to help it because of its bad reputation.
Yep, I agree. I don't think Las Vegas is going to help it. I think this musical is going down the toilet, and they just need to accept that they're not revitalizing this.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think when you first heard about the musical? Did you think it would be a good idea, or?
I did not think it would be a good idea. But the thing that I found funny was I watched this guy called It's Just Some Random Guy on YouTube, and he has this Goblin blogging section where he has Goblin answering emails and stuff. And one of the emails that was sent in was like, how dare they put a musical in? They're just going to destroy Spider-Man. Who would do something like this? And Goblin's sitting with a whole bunch of money, and he's like, no idea.
Yeah, I mean, this musical is just... It's a train wreck. It really is. That's all it is. I mean,
and I didn't ever think, and I think that putting Spider-Man on a stage is just a bad idea because, I mean, look at how much you have to do in order to get Spider-Man's motions correct, and there's so much CGI in the film and everything. In order to fully capitalize on the Spider-Man property, you kind of need it to be an actual show with stuff that isn't, constantly live all the time. And so I just think I thought it was a bad idea from the start, even without the musical stuff attached to it, because I hate musicals with a passion.
Why do you hate musicals?
I just hate them.
Why do you hate Obama? I just do.
Well, there's actually been quite a few people that say that, so it's kind of funny to hear their reasoning. But well, mostly the reason I hate musicals is because my mom loves the movie Grease, and I absolutely hate that movie. I hate just anything that has to do with just spontaneously breaking out in song.
You wouldn't hate Glee because they don't actually spontaneously break out into song, but I don't think you'd be a big fan of Glee.
I haven't even seen it. It doesn't sound like something that interested me, but Diana Agron, yeah, she's hot. I might have to just watch it for her.
She's not on the show anymore, so.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
No, she's not on the show anymore.
Aww.
The hottest one on there right now is Leah Michele.
Oh yeah, she's pretty hot too.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that, but I'm surprised she left. I don't know what she did.
No, she left because she was just done with it. She was tired of it. She wanted to move on to other things.
Oh, well, I haven't seen her in anything since then, so.
She's gonna be in this new movie coming out. I don't know what it's called, but she's got a new movie coming out either this year or next year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's really it for the news topics this week. There really haven't. I mean, this has actually been a fairly big week for Spider News, considering how we had absolutely nothing to talk about last week. So, this has actually been a fairly big week for Spider News. I think we had we had 5 news topics this week. That's pretty impressive.
Yep, and then we'll be talking 2 weeks from now about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer, so everything will be good there.
Yeah, next week we'll be talking about Superior 22, so look out for that. And
Yay!
Yeah, Superior 22 is coming out, and boy oh boy, we're gonna see where that goes. I mean that automatically drops to a B just because of the Ramos art, but
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that automatically drops to a B just because of the Ramos art, but
and that's only if the story blows our socks off.
Exactly. Yeah, but so that's I'm just gonna point Thomas to the chat window just because I don't know if he read just what I just typed in there, but we're gonna actually conclude this little episode of the SpiderNerd.com podcast for this week because I didn't realize how long that news segment was gonna take us. So yeah, we will see you guys next week. So Thomas, any final words for the listeners before we sign off?
Nope. Just get out there and have fun, and make sure to give thanks for all the things that you take pride in and take for granted this week for Thanksgiving.
Yes, and my final words for this podcast is for anyone in America to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you all later.